Welcome back. Do you ever feel like you're just too crammed into your workspace or that your colleagues are just too distracting? Well, a study says that Asia is a key offender in packing office desks together too closely. The report by real estate company CBRE finds that in Hong Kong, India and China, workplace space has shrunk from 100 square feet per desk to just 50 square feet per desk. That figure is nearly half of that in Europe and in the US, where density norms are as high as 200 square feet per desk. Now, CBRE believes that anything below 60 square feet could impact productivity. We're going to delve a little bit deeper into that report in just a moment. But first, we went out and asked a few people right here in Singapore what they think about sitting a little too close to their colleagues.
I would prefer to have a spacious environment, and then if it is a cramped environment, I think it will affect my productivity.
I would prefer to share desks with my colleagues because we can share around the ideas. Sometimes when we work, and we can sometimes we can exchange ideas for each other.
That would be an invasion of my own personal space, so I don't think that it is wise for me, because I don't think it will increase my productivity.
It's always on the dog, like the boss will keep an eye on you easily, and whatever you do, you have to report, and of course, you don't have much facilities. You probably don't even have a pantry room.
All right, let's get some analysis and some alternatives. Joining me here is Peter Andrew, who's the Director of Workplace Strategies Asia at CBRE. Great to have you on. So open plan workspaces, they were all in vogue a few years ago.
Yep.
They're meant to be the great equaliser, you know, utilitarian, space efficient, but you're saying for productivity it just doesn't work.
Well, they were supposed to be one size fits everybody, but actually they're more like one size fits nobody. You can't really concentrate very well, and you can't even collaborate very well. The open plan work environment is designed to help us share ideas with one another, and we need that to do our work effectively. We need to pass on ideas to colleagues. But there are times also where we need to go and focus and concentrate, and they just really don't cut the mustard.
Right, so you're talking about more of a bespoke approach, I guess, for what works for each employee. You can customise that kind of thing if you're a startup, if you have a few employees. How do you do that for a huge organisation with, you know, potentially thousands of people in that workspace?
Well, there's huge shifts changing the way we work and the technology that supports the way that we work. So if you think about technology today, think about our children, think about the subways where people with their smartphones. We can be much more mobile in the way we do things, but the workplace hasn't kept up with that. So as work continues to change and as we have new technologies, we now have choice. So in the past in a workplace, we were told where we had to sit and we were told what we had to do. Work now is about empowering people just to get the job done in the best way they can, and the new work environments will give people more choice. So not only can you sit amongst your team and colleagues, but you can now choose to work in more collaborative areas. You can choose to work in quiet and focused areas, and in some organisations you can choose to work from home.
We were looking at the report earlier. One of the highlights is that, you know, here in Asia, in East Asia in particular, we're seeing some of the biggest offenders.
Yes.
Is it worse in any particular sector that you find?
Well, it's certainly the back of house and processing centres. So if you went to the Philippines and India and countries like that, you'll certainly see people crammed in.
So telecommunications.
And areas like that.
Yeah.
And certainly if you go to Facebook and Google, it's a whole different world and different planet. But I think the opportunity that's emerging is what people see as these exciting, great workplaces at Google can be available to many more companies. And so in particular, we've seen the financial services industry in Asia is rapidly adapting this concept we call activity-based working. The idea that I can sit and move around the environment, and by doing that they can, for a very cost-effective way, create these exciting and diverse places to work.
This is sort of part of a bigger move towards an individualised, you know, working experience, I guess, right? Because I was reading that Grant Thornton, the accounting firm, they're now offering essentially as much leave as you want. I mean, it's a bit more complicated than that, but it does address this idea that each individual person has different, you know, needs in terms of what can maximise their productivity.
Yeah, well, it's all empowerment. So productivity was a production line in the past when it came to work. Here's a process that goes from my intro to my outro, and if I can do that faster, I'm more productive. But now I have to do it better and faster. So the boss now has to say to the employee, take this job and do this in the best possible way that you can. And so that level of empowerment is how I work in the work environment. It's whether I want to work from home. It's when I want to take my holidays. It's as long as you get the job done, I'll pay you what you deserve. And we should have fun working as well. We should create really exciting workplaces. They do not need to be these bland rows of boxes anymore.
You think artificial intelligence, that's going to be a game changer?
Oh, absolutely. This is the most fundamental change that will impact not workplace but work. And really the key skills in the future that an employee is going to need is creative intelligence to come up with ideas, emotional intelligence so they can share and work together, and then leveraging artificial intelligence. And it's all the way through to the C-suite already.
All right, embrace the robots. Don't be scared. We'll have to leave it there, but good to have those insights and a little glimpse into the future, hopefully. Peter Andrew, Director of Workplace Strategies Asia at CBRE, with me here in the studio.